Good morning, my name is David Sadie and I'll be talking about the Emotional Intelligence course. The course spans a number of different topics, from self-awareness to looking at your personality profile, to looking at Daniel Goleman's 5 core competencies, and it looks at interpersonal skills, locus of control, and we focus on managing negative emotions, confidence, and we look at positive thinking at the end of the course and personal mastery. So we'll start with Daniel Goleman's 5 core competencies, and what he focuses on is self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand personal moods, emotions and drives, as well as their effect on others. And the second core competency that Daniel Goleman looks at is self-regulation, the ability to control or redirect disruptive moods or impulses, the ability to nip in the bud negative thoughts or bad moods, and to think before acting. And then the third core competency he looks at is motivation, a passion to work for internal reasons that go beyond money or status, to be passionate about what we do, to be motivated in our work, to be dedicated in our work, as well as the ability to motivate others. And then the fourth core competency that Daniel Goleman, the father of emotional intelligence, wrote about is empathy, the ability to understand the emotional makeup of others, the ability to understand other people, to understand their personalities, and to walk in their shoes, to feel their pain, to feel their joy as much as they do. As Mandela and Mother Teresa have great capacity for empathy, as leaders in organizations, we also need to have that empathy, so our staff can trust us, and they can understand us, and they respect us. And the last core competency he talks about is social skills, the ability to network with others, the ability to build bonding relationships, collaboration with other people in other departments, in your own teams, and the ability to work in a team collaboratively with others. The course focuses on self-awareness. It's a very important part of the whole course, understanding ourselves, self-awareness of our personalities, our positive traits, our weak traits, and being able to manage those weak traits in a better way. So what we look at is Johari's window. It's a wonderful model that we look at, and there's a quadrant of known to me, unknown to me, and known by others and unknown by others. And the first quadrant, open area, is known to me and known to others. Those are my strengths, areas of my personality that I'm aware of. Others can see those traits, and it's my open quadrant. The second quadrant is the blind area, unknown to myself but known to others. So the whole office can see that I'm stubborn. On a scale to 1 to 10, I'm 12, extremely stubborn. I can't work in a team, but all my colleagues, I'm not aware of that stubbornness. I think I'm principled. I stand up for what I believe in. But all my colleagues can see that weak area of mine, and that is a blind spot that I'm not able to deal with. Then the hidden area is self-disclosure, known by me but not known by others. It might be an area that I'm have an illness, or it might be a problem I'm having at home, and I disclose that to colleagues I trust, and that area can be small or bigger. Some colleagues, you can work with them for 10 years, you know nothing about their private lives. While other colleagues are very open and they share with their colleagues something about their home life. And the more our hidden area is open, the more our colleagues can trust us, they come to understand us, and they can see some of the difficulties we are experiencing. And the last area is unknown by me, unknown by others, and that is my unknown area. As I leave a job, and I've been working as a manager for 20 years, and I retire, and I realize I have other gifts that I wasn't aware of. And I explore those gifts and I develop them, and that is my unknown area. But the important thing about Johari's window and self-awareness for the emotional intelligence course is to understand ourselves, to understand those areas that are our blind spots, and to come to know them, to become more mature. How can I be a more mature person? How can I be a more loving person? And how can I manage those weaknesses in my personality in a greater way? The next section of the course deals with locus of control, and that is really, do I have an external locus of control or do I have an internal locus of control? When I have an internal locus of control, my power comes internally. No matter what the difficult situation is externally, I'm positive, I'm happy because I have this internal locus of control. When my locus of control is external, The external circumstances determine my happiness. When things are good, I'm happy. When things are bad, I'm not that happy. So what are the behaviors of people with the external locus of control? We normally call them victims. It's the behavior of victims. They moan, they complain, they blame others, they make excuses, they don't take action, they're sleepwalkers, they have no power, they give up. But it's a sense of being weak, a sense of blaming others for making excuses, entitlement. All of these things are behaviors of an external locus of control, a behavior of a victim that feels that they're weak and powerless. They can't take the life by the bull by the horns. They can't do anything about the problems in their lives, and they tend to give up easily. The behavior of those with an internal locus of control, those who are empowered, they say something, they make a demand, they make a request, they say no, they try something new. If all else fails, they leave, but they take responsibility for their failures and their successes. They take action, they persevere, and they're resilient. So people who will determine their future because they decide that they will take action to change the things in their lives that they're not happy with, rather than giving up and lying down, I'm too weak, I can't change this. And part of that locus of control is the topic of above or below the line. When I'm below the line, I'm a victim, I feel threatened or under attack, I blame others, I judge others, I'm non-trusting, I'm insecure, I survive day to day on menial jobs, I give up easily, and I'm lethargic. When I live above the line and I'm empowered, I'm calm and relaxed, I'm a victor, I take responsibility, I'm accepting of others, I'm trusting of others, I'm secure, I thrive on my talents, I use my talents to thrive in my work, and I'm resilient, bounce back quickly from adversity, and I take action. Great, so then the course looks at interpersonal skills and communication, and we focus on two areas of communication, listening skills and giving negative feedback to others. So we focus on how to have really good listening skills, how to listen to others, how to be able to summarize what they've said, how to listen between the lines, how to pay full attention to others when they are speaking to you, not to rush, not to be impatient, not to finish other people's sentences. And we look at having better listening skills. Listening skills build relationships. They help people to bond, and a very important skill for leaders in the workplace. We then look at giving negative feedback, and in the workplace we always have to give negative feedback to others. And we look at using the hamburger method for giving negative feedback to others. We start with the positive, and we then give the negative feedback, and then we end with the positive. So it's a real art of giving negative feedback, not to being too harsh, not being too abrasive, not being too aggressive, but really giving negative feedback to your colleagues. We have to do it on a daily basis when things go wrong, but being able to give it back, give negative feedback in a gentle and kind and honest way, dealing with the facts, dealing with the issues, but at the same time helping to find a solution to the problem and moving forward. And then we also look at conflict management. We look at gratitude. We look at the point of having gratitude in your life, appreciating what you have, all the blessings, and also being able to show appreciation to your colleagues. It always builds them up, encourages them to go the extra mile, and it always makes people more motivated and more hardworking. And then we look at the model of the iceberg, which ties in again with the Enneagram, and certain dysfunctional behaviors that we've carried on in many parts of our lives for many years, and we try to change those dysfunctional behaviors, and we always end up doing the same thing over and over. So the model of the iceberg helps us to look at what are the core compulsions underlying these negative behaviors or dysfunctional behaviors. For example, being abrasive or rude to people. We know we shouldn't speak like that, but next week we do it again, and we have to look at a deeper level at our values and beliefs, at our emotions and thoughts, and then at the base level, what are our compulsions that's driving that perfectionism or that impatience, being in a rush, and so you don't take your time to be polite and diplomatic with people. So when we look at a deeper level, we're able to overcome some of those dysfunctional behaviors. And then lastly, we look at assertiveness and aggressive communication. Many of us are either aggressive or submissive, and we look at how we can balance that by becoming assertive, polite, diplomatic, but honest and straightforward, giving feedback to others, being able to stand up for what you're believing, being able to stand up for your rights, and being able to express yourself effectively in the workplace. For those who are aggressive, being able to soften, to be more respectful of others, to listen better to others, and to be able to come to win-win solutions. So that ties in with our conflict management, where we don't become competitive and overriding others. At the same time, we don't give in all the time or avoid conflict, but we rather try and find win-win solutions where both parties are happy. So the next topic that we focus on in the emotional intelligence course is about managing negative emotions. And we all tend to have negative emotions that derail us from time to time. And some personalities are able to manage those negative emotions better, while others are more sensitive and they tend to be derailed by negative emotions. Especially the 2s and the 4s in the Enneagram, 6s and the 7s, they can be dominated by a lot of negative emotions that they aren't able to nip in the bud, they aren't able to manage. So in the course we look at the whole idea of managing negative emotions is about really cooling that hot emotion down from a 100-degree temperature, boiling hot, cooling it down to 30 degrees, where it's still unpleasant, but it's not as strong, it's not as powerful as before. So we have that rage, that fury, that anger, and we just cool that negative emotion down until we're annoyed, we're irritated, and we can deal with it in a positive way. Or we have that despair and depression and negativity, and we just cool it down until we're a little sad, and we can deal with it. Or anxiety and fear and panic attacks and worry the whole night. You can't sleep, we cool it down until we're a little bit concerned, but we can still deal with it in a positive way. So our negative emotions are something that we need to manage more effectively, and this course really helps delegates to deal with that. And we deal with a number of techniques to help us deal with negative emotions. The managing a blow-up, we look at a number of stress release techniques, listening to soft music, meditation, running and exercise, screaming in your car while you're driving with the windows closed, and a number of other techniques that we look at in terms of trying to manage negative emotions more effectively. Writing, journaling, speaking to a friend, all of these techniques we deal with. So we focus on empathy. Do I have the heart of a pea, or do I have the heart the size of the Grand Canyon? And we look at empathy in the workplace and how empathy is a very important thing. Building bonds with your colleagues, understanding them, caring for them, being kind, being supportive, encouraging them, at the same time as being honest, holding them accountable for delivery of certain tasks, but really about developing empathy as leaders in the workplace. And we look at a number of techniques of how we develop that empathy, how we can focus on being more empathetic, more understanding of our colleagues. When your manager encourages you, supports you, you tend to be more hardworking and more motivated in the workplace. We then look at self-confidence and the importance of being confident in the workplace. The workplace is a very tough place. There's a lot of difficult and complex situations, and one has to be confident to be able to work in the workplace. And we look at a number of techniques of improving one's confidence. Some personalities are naturally confident. They're in fact overconfident and arrogant, while other personalities tend to be really have large self-doubt, always undermining themselves, second-guessing themselves. And we need to work on building that confidence, believing in yourself, identifying your talents, identifying what's good about yourself, and focusing on those things that you are good at. And then the last section of the course focuses on personal mastery. We look at positive thinking. We look at the DVD on The Secret, and some of the things about positive thinking and how that gives us more motivation, more energy, more enthusiasm to reach our goals, to be more effective in the workplace. And more than just positive thinking, we link that to purpose in life. What is your mission? What is your purpose? And what are your talents? And how do you utilize those talents and really allow those talents to blossom and to flower and to be able to achieve your goals and to be able to achieve your life purpose? So that covers everything that we've spoken about in the course, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the course.